Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today guys, I'm going to do the last other new chatbot that I haven't got to show off yet. This is part 1 to a chatbot that I don't even know how to pronounce the name of. It's called something like Grok or something like that. It's always spelled G-R-O-K. Right there. It's hard to see it, but that's what it's called. So, yeah. I went ahead and put the three main the three main story ones I had on ChatGPT on here. That being the Imagination Creature Creation Station and Will the Frick the Thing Stop Moving, the Dinosaur Pet Facility, and then the Creature Nursery. Nursery! Goodness gracious, my brain. Do you see why I decided to do the AI now, even though it's only 6:08? I don't care. I would rather be mentally. I would rather flip and not drive myself up the wall right now, which I'm already on the verge of doing. We're doing the Imagination Creature Creation Station, and like I said, it created a pretty good story for it right off the bat. The grand opening of the Imagination Creature Creation Station. Goodness gracious. Let's see what it says. Let's see. The sun rises over the gleaming, futuristic structure of the Imagination Creature Creation Station. A sprawling dome-like building with indecent panels that shimmer in hues of emerald, sapphire, and gold under the morning light. Its architecture is a blend of sleek modernity and fantastical whimsy. Curved spires twist upward like the tails of mythical beasts. Okay, that's actually kind of cool. And massive stained glass windows depict vibrant scenes of dragons soaring, fences rising from flames, and oh my gosh, Pokemon like Lugia diving through stormy seas. I did not tell it to do that, it did that on its own. I gave the exact same story I did on ChatGPT, and I told it nothing about adding Lugia anything besides the DNA of Lugia for the creatures. Other than that, nothing Lugia really was supposed to be on there. That makes it even cooler, actually. The air buzzes with anticipation as crowds gather outside. Their murmurs a mix of excitement and disbelief. Today is the grand opening of the most ambitious, revolutionary facility ever created. A place where anyone can craft their dream creature from a vast library of DNA samples, from the mundane to the mythical. What does it mean by mundane? Like smaller creatures or something? Inside the station's a marvel of organized chaos. The main hall, dubbed the Creation, I don't even know how you say that flipping word, is a cavernous space with a high vaulted ceiling embedded with holographic projectors that display shifting constellations of fantastical creatures. The floors are polished and mystique of interlocking scales, feathers, and claws, reflecting the light in dazzling patterns. Along the oh my gosh, I see Feraligat's name down there. Along the walls, towering cylindrical tanks, each the size of a small car, glow with bioluminescent liquid. Okay, it's the DNA. Housing DNA samples labeled with holographic tags: grizzly bear, snowy owl, feraligator, wyvern, kitsune, and countless others. Each tank comes softly and the liquid inside swirling as if alive, with faint silhouettes of the creatures they represent flicking within. That's actually kind of neat sounding. In the center of the Atarium stands the Genesis machine, a sleek, egg-shaped device with a translucent surface that pulses with soft blue light. It's the heart of the station, capable of synthesizing DNA mixtures into viable eggs. Nearby, rows of mixing stations, equipped with test tubes, pipettes, digital mixers, and touchscreen interfaces, allow visitors to experiment with combined DNA strands. Holographic displays above each station guide users through the process, offering suggestions for stable combinations or warning against volatile ones. Beyond the mixing area, a corridor lined with incubation chambers glows warmly, each chamber a transparent pod where eggs rest on cushioned beds, their shells shimmering with faint patterns unique to the creature within. Finally, the size modulation chambers, sleek booths with sliding scales and holographic previews. Stand ready to adjust a creature's size upon hatching, from the size of a mouse to as large as a flippin' house. Oh, frick that. Within safe biological limits. Dang it, I wish we could continue. Oh well. The staff, clad in sleek white and silver uniforms, is actually, that's kind of cool, with badges shaped like double helix strands, bustle about, calibrating equipment and answering questions from early VIP guests. A low hum of excitement fills the air as the clock nears 10 a.m., the official opening time. Outside, the crowd, families, scientists, Pokemon trainers, and fantasy enthusiasts, and curious onlookers presses closer to the massive glass doors, eager to step into a world where imagination becomes reality. And it says, you, the visionary owner and mastermind behind the Imagination Creature Creation Station, stand on an elevated platform overlooking the Altarium. Your tailored coat, embroidered with soul patterns of phoenix feathers and dragon scales, okay, that's kind of neat, catches the light as you survey your creation. The weight of this moment settles on your shoulders. This is your years in the making, now alive and ready to change the world. Yep, staff look to you for the signal to open the doors, and the crowd's anticipation is palpable. Okay. It just says, what do you want to do for after that one? Give me a second. Okay, guys, it took me a minute, but I just said, hey, you can go ahead and let the guests to come in. There are seats in the Creation Altarium. Tell them to sit down, and I will be here in a few minutes to show people how to make a creature of their own. Yep, go ahead and walk into my office to get ready. Yep. You nodded the head staff member, a poised woman named Dr. Alara Voss. That's her full name, huh? Who's been with the project since its inception. Go ahead and let the guest in. You say, yep, your voice steady but brimming with excitement. Direct them to the seats in the Creation Altarium. Tell them to settle in, and I'll be out in a few minutes to demonstrate how they can create their own creature. Yep, there we go. Dr. Voss gives a sharp nod, her holographic badge glinting as she signals the team. With a final glance at that bustling Altarium, you turn and stride toward your office to prepare for the big moment. The massive glass doors of the Imagination Creature Creation Station slide open with a soft hiss, revealing the eager crowd outside. Families clutch their tickets, scientists adjust their glasses, and Pokemon trainers, some with Pokeballs clipped to their belts, crane their necks to peek inside. The staff, trained to perfection, guide the guests in an orderly flow, their voices calm yet enthusiastic. Welcome to the Imagination Creature Creation Station. One calls out, please proceed to the Creation Altarium and take a seat. The owner will join you shortly for a special demonstration. The Creation Altarium fills quickly. Rows of cushioned, crescent-shaped benches designed to resemble the curves of a dragon's wing. Okay, that's neat. Face a central stage where the Genesis machine hums softly, its translucent surface casting prismatic light across the mosaic floor. Guests gaze as they take in the towering DNA tanks, their glowing contents swirling with faint images of creatures, a phoenix's fiery wings, a Noivern's sleek silhouette, a grizzly bear's hulking form. Children point sadly while adults murmur in awe, some tapping notes into tablets or snapping photos with their devices. The holographic ceiling shifts, displaying a serene scene of Lugia soaring over a stormy ocean. Again? What the I didn't tell it to add Lugia this much, and it's putting a lot of Lugia. I like that, actually. Add to the electric atmosphere. Staff members circulate, offering water infused with edible shimmering flecks, a playful nod to the station's fantastical theme, and answering questions about the process. Meanwhile, you step into your office, a sleek circular room tucked just off the Altarium. The walls are lined with interactive screens displaying live feeds of the DNA tanks, incubation chambers, and the bustling Altarium. A polished desk holds a holographic model of the Genesis machine, its miniature form rotating slowly. On one wall, a glass case displays a single, increasing egg, the first ever created by the Genesis machine. A prototype hybrid of a dragon and a snowy owl. Now assemble your bit. Let's see, you take a moment to collect yourself, adjusting your coat and checking your reflection in a mirrored panel. Your speech is ready, but this is more than a presentation. It's the unveiling of a new era. You run through the demonstration in your mind. You'll guide the audience through selecting DNA samples, mixing them in a station, and feeding the blend into the Janus machine to create a unique egg. You even show them the size moderator in action, perhaps hatching a creature live to seal the moment. Outside, the Altarium is nearly full, the buzz of conversation growing louder. A young trainer in a cap emblazoned with a Pikachu emblem whispers to her friend, "Do you think we can make a real Lugia?" An elderly man, a retired biologist, scribbles in a notebook, muttering about the ethics of mythical DNA synthesis. A child tugs at their parent's sleeve, pointing at a tank labeled Phoenix, and asking if they can make a tiny firebird for a pet. Dr. Foster's voice cuts through the hum over the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The demonstration will begin shortly." Yep, you take a deep breath, feeling the weight and thrill of the moment. Your vision's about to come to the life before the world. Okay, that's neat. What the? Okay, hold on. Okay, guys, here's what I said. I walked out of my office right in front of the desk, sitting down, and I said, "Welcome, everyone, to the Imagination Creature Creation Station, where today, every one of you will get the chance to make your own creature." Now, before we begin, does anyone have any questions before I show any demonstrations? Yep. Let's see. You shout out of your office, the door sliding shut behind you with a soft hum, and step onto the elevated stage at the center of this creation altarium. The crowd's chatter fades to a hush as all eyes turn to you. The Janus machine pulses gently behind you, its blue glow casting a halo around your figure. That's kind of neat. While the towering DNA tanks along the wall shimmer, their bioluminescent contents swirling with faint silhouettes of creatures. The holographic ceiling shifts to a vibrant display of a dragon and a feraligator circling each other in a starry sky. That's actually dope. What the freak? Amplifying the awe in the room, your coat embroidered with phoenix feathers and dragon scales catches the light, making you look even every bit the visionary behind this extraordinary place. You raise your hands, a warm smile spreading across your face. Yep, and adjust the sea of eager faces. Holy toad! Well, I just said for Edgar a while ago. I guess his child's around. I love you, sweetie. Families, scientists, Pokemon trainers, and fantasy enthusiasts, all clutching their tickets and waiting for their crescent-shaped seats. Welcome, everyone, to the Imagination Creature Creation Station. Your voice, amplified by discrete microphones embedded in the stage, carries clearly through the altarium. Today, every one of you will get the chance to make your own creature, born from your wildest dreams and brought to life by the power of science and imagination. Before we begin, does anyone have any questions before I show you a demonstration of how it all works? The crowd stirs, hands shooting up across the altarium. A young girl, no older than 10, waves enthusiastically, her eyes wide as she points to a tank labeled Noivern. "Can we really mix Pokemon DNA with other stuff? Like, can I make a Noivern that breathes fire like a dragon?" Her question draws chuckles from nearby guests. Where you can respond, a middle-aged man in a lab coat, his notebook already filled with scribbled equations, stands up. "I'm Dr. Harlan, a geneticist. I'm curious about the stability of these hypergenomes. How do you ensure the creatures are viable and safe, especially with mythical DNA like phoenixes or dragons, which theoretically shouldn't even exist?" Oh, here we go. This is the one I'm not going to look forward to. A point trainer, his cap tilted back and a Pokeball twirling in his hand, calls out next. "Yo, can we make creatures that can battle, like in Pokemon tournaments?" "Of course. Oh, yes. Technically, but and did they come with moves or abilities already? Or do we gotta train them?" The question sparked murmurs of agreement and curiosity from the crowd. A child near the front tugs at their parent's sleeve, whispering like, "Ask about the size thing. Can we make a tiny phoenix?" Meanwhile, a woman in a fantasy-inspired cloak, clutching a sketchboard filled with drawings of mythical creatures, raises her hand but hesitates, waiting for your response to the others. The staff, positioned along the edges of the terrarium, watch attentively. Radio assists as the Genesis machine hums softly. Sight pulses in rhythm with the excitement in the room. Holographic displays above the mixing stations flicker, ready to guide guests through the process once the demonstration begins. Alright, cool so far. Alright, guys, I just answered your questions. I said I'll answer every one of your questions. Yes, you can make any DNA you want, so you could have a Wyvern that breathes fire if you mix the right DNAs. As for your question, Dr. Harlan, every one of these DNA samples are stable, no matter which ones you decide to mix in together, even the mythical creatures. As for you, Pointer, you can technically make a creature that you can use in a Pokemon tournament, but if you do, you might want to do only Pokemon DNA instead of mixing it with anything else, otherwise you might get disqualified from even trying to do a tournament. Like maybe for Alligator and Lugia, for example. Or if the tournament disqualifies legendaries, maybe Noiver and Toto. And yes, you can. Yes, you can make a fence that is pocket size. You can make the creature super massive, or you can make it tiny. Yep. You stand tall on the stage, the Genesis machine's soft blue glow framing you as you address the crowd with confidence. Your voice clear and authoritative, yet warm, inviting and trust. The creation altarium hums with anticipation. DNA taints casting shimmering reflections across the mesquite floor. Hologram 79 displays a serene image of a phoenix and a Lugia soaring side by side. That's dope. Their wings leaving trails of light. The guests lean forward, hanging on every word as you respond to their questions. You point to the young girl who asked about Noivern, a grin right across her face. Yes, you absolutely can mix any DNA you want here. So if you choose a Noivern that breathes fire like a dragon, you can combine Noivern DNA with, say, Dragon or Fan's DNA at one of our mixing stations. System will guide you to ensure the combination is stable, and you'll see a preview of what your creature might look like before it's synthesized. The possibilities are endless. Turning to Dr. Harlan, the geneticist, he nodded respectively, acknowledging his concern. Yep, Dr. Harlan, an excellent question. I assure you, every DNA sample in those tanks, you just reach the glowing cinders lying in the terrarium, where silhouettes of creatures like wyverns and feraliers flicker faintly, has been meticulously engineered for stability. Our proprietary technology, derived over years of research, ensures that even the most... Yep, holy frickin' frick beast! Sorry about that, guys. Um, it just says our proprietary technology, developed over years of research, ensures that even the most fantastical combinations, including mythical creatures like phantoms or dragons, produce viable, healthy organisms. The Genesis machine runs real-time simulations during the mixing process, projecting any unstable combinations before they reach the egg stage. Safety and ethics are our top priorities. He then pivoted to the Pokemon trainer who stood twirling his Pokeball, his eyes gleaming with excitement. As for you, my friend, yes, you can absolutely create a creature for Pokemon tournaments. However, you're right to think about regulations. If you're aiming for official tournaments, I recommend sticking to pure Pokemon DNA, like mixing for Alligator and Lugia for a powerful hybrid. That would be dope. Or, if legendaries are banned, something like Noivern and Totodile for a fierce legal contender. Our creatures hatch with innate abilities based on DNA. Training the master moves is up to you. Just like any Pokemon. That's where your skills as a trainer come in. Finally, you crouch slowly to address the child near the front, whose eyes are wild with wonder at the sight of a tiny phoenix. And you, young trader? Yes, you can make a pocket-sized phoenix. Our size modulation chamber lets you choose exactly how big or small your creature will be when it hatches. Want a fence that fits in your hand or one as big as houses? You decide, and the chamber makes it happen safely and instantly. The crowd erupts in excited murmurs, the child beaming and whispering to their parent, the trainer nodding thoughtfully, and Dr. Harlan jotting down more notes. The woman in the fantasy quote, still clutching her sketchbook, raises her hand, her voice tentative but eager. Can we design a creature based on our own drawings? Like if I draw a creature that's part kitsune, part dragon, could you make it real? Our guest now clearly intrigued by her question, while a teenager in the back calls out, what happens if the creature hatches and we don't like it? Can we try again? The engineering is electric. DNA tanks glowing brighter as it responds to the crowd's enthusiasm, and the Genesis machine pulses steadily, ready for the demonstration. Alright, give me a second. Okay, guys, here's what I said. Yes, you can design a creature based on your drawing, but in order to get the right design, you would have to mix the right amount of DNA. As a demonstration, when you get to make your own, one of my staff will happily help you if you need it. He'll even help you pour in the DNA to get exactly what you want. As for you, Teaser, unfortunately, no, you cannot remake the creature if you don't like it. However, the screen will show what your creature mostly looks like. Just be careful how much of each DNA you mix. You stand calmly on the stage, the genesis machine soft blue light casting intricate patterns across the creature altarium as you address the next wave of questions. The crowd is wrapped, the glowing DNA tanks and shimmering holographic ceiling, a taboo of a kintsugi weaving through a starry forest, adding to the dreamlike atmosphere. The mosaic floor gleams with reflections of Phoenix flames and dragon scales, and the anticipation in the room is palpable as guests clutch their tickets, eager for the demonstration. Here's a woman in a fancy cloak, her sketchbook and clutched tightly, and offer it an encouraging smile. Yes, you can absolutely design a creature based on your drawings. If you envision a kitsune dragon hybrid, for example, you can work with our mixing stations to combine those DNA samples in just the right proportions to match your vision. The holographic interface at each station will show you a preview of your creature as you adjust the DNA ratios, so you can fine-tune it to look as close as possible to your drawing. And don't worry, after the demonstration, when it's time for you to create your own creature, one of my staff will be right there to guide you. They'll help you pour and mix the DNA to get exactly the look and traits you're dreaming of. You then shift your gaze to the teenager in the back, who's leaning forward with a mix of curiosity and concern. As for your question, you say, you're telling Gilmore Farm, once a creature is hatched, it's a living being, so we don't remake or discard it if you're not satisfied. However, you don't need to worry too much. The mixing station screen will give you a detailed preview of what your creature will look like and its key traits before you finalize the DNA blend and send it to the Genesis machine. So take your time and be thoughtful about how much of each DNA you mix. The system will also warn you if a combination might not work as expected, so you'll have plenty of control to get it right the first time. The crowd murmurs with excitement. The woman in the cloak nods eagerly as she flips open her sketchbook, already sketching adjustments for a kitsune dragon design. The teenager relaxes, whispering to a friend about being careful with the mix. The energy in the atmospherium surges, with guests exchanging ideas about their dream creatures. Some whispering about tiny fences, others debating whether to mix Lugia with a wyvern or stick to a pure Pokemon hybrid. Okay, Lugia wyvern would be kind of dope. Holy crap. A new hand shoots up, this time from an older woman with a practical air. Her glasses glinting under the atmosphere. What about caring for these creatures after they hatch? Do they need special food or environment? Especially the mythical ones. Nearby young boy, clutching a toy Pokeball, bounces in a seat and blurts out, "Can we keep them as pets? Like forever?" This sparked more nods and chatter, and the staff along the edges of the aquarium exchange glances ready to assist as the Genesis machine hums, light pulsing brighter as eager to begin. Okay. Alright guys, here's what I said. Food and everything else needed to care for them is dependent on what creatures you mix. For instance, if you make a dog and a dragon, it could eat dog food or some kind of meat product like steak. If you mix a plant-eating dinosaur with, say, a wizard, I said lizard, you freaking idiot, it would be better to feed plants, possibly even bugs. And yes, you can keep the pets forever. However, you have to take good care of them. One of the biggest things about these creatures is no matter what you mix in, they will always care about you as long as you care about them. However, that's also where it gets pretty dangerous. If you mix two aggressive species together, they will be friendly at first, but if you be mean to them or hurt them, or even do something like not feed them and not take care of their needs, then they could become aggressive and attack. Please, any of the parents with children, you need to make sure to not let your child hit the creature or hurt it. So anybody, especially with toddlers or younger babies, keep them away from the creature or teach them to not hit or hurt it. If you do, even a massive Tyrannosaurus Rex hybrid can be your baby's best friend. That would be pretty interesting, actually. You stand at the center of the creation altarium, the Genesis machine's rhythm pulsing, casting a soft blue glow across your embroidered coat as you address the latest questions with a blend of authority and warmth. Kind of captivated, their faces lit by the shimmering light of the DNA tanks, where silhouettes of creatures like Noivern, phoenixes, and dinosaurs flicker within the bioluminescent liquid. The holographic ceiling now displays a serene meadow where a hybrid dog dragon bounds playfully alongside a Lugia. Do you notice how Lugia is everywhere? Amplifying the crowd's excitement. The ear hums with anticipation as guests lean forward, some scribbling notes, others whispering about their dream creatures. You nod the older woman with glasses, addressing her practical concern first. The food and care for your creature depends entirely on the DNA you mix. For example, if you create a hybrid of a dog and a dragon, it might thrive on dog food or something heartier, like steak or other meat products, to satisfy its draconic appetite. But if you mix, say, a plant-eating dragon like a Triceratops with something fantastic like a wizard's essence, oh my gosh, you'd be better off feeding it a diet of plants, maybe even some insects for variety, depending on the traits that manifest. Each mixing station provides a detailed care guide based on your final DNA blend, including dietary needs, ideal environments, and even exercise recommendations. Our staff will also be available to walk you through everything to ensure your creature thrives. Turn to the young boy clutching his toy Pokeball. He smiled warmly, his voice softening. And yes, you can absolutely keep your creature as a pet. Forever, in fact. These creatures are designed to bond deeply with their creators, no matter what you mix. Whether it's a tiny phoenix, a massive Faragur dragon hybrid, again, that would be dope. Or even a pocket-sized Noivern. They'll care for you as long as you care for them. That bond is one of the most special parts of what we do here. Your tone shifts to one of caution as you address the entire crowd, gaze sweeping across parents, children, and trainers alike. However, I need to emphasize something important. While these creatures are created to be loyal and friendly, their behavior depends on how you treat them. If you mix particularly aggressive creatures like, say, a Tyrannosaurus Rex with a wyvern, the resulting creature will start out friendly, but it's up to you to maintain that bond. If you neglect their needs, fail to feed them, or worse, mistreat them, they could become aggressive and potentially dangerous. This is especially critical for parents with young children. He paused, winking eyes with a few parents holding toddlers. Please, make sure your kids understand not to hit or hurt their creature. Teach them to be gentle and caring. If you do, even a massive T-Rex hybrid could be your child's best friend, as loyal and loving as any pet. But respect and care are key. That's very interesting. Hmm. I like that. The crowd nods solemnly, parents whispering to their children who clutch toys or point silently at the DNA tanks. The older woman adjusts her glasses, jotting down notes about care guides, while the boy with the Pokeball grins, whispering to his friend about making a super cool T-Rex Lugia. I would love to see that. That would probably be dope if the design came out right. That would be one of the coolest designs ever. The atmosphere remains electric, but your warning has added a layer of responsibility to the excitement. The woman in the fancy cloak, still holding her sketchbook, raises her hand again, her voice more confident now. Can you achieve specific traits? Making a creature that glows or has special powers, like a phoenix's fire or a wizard's magic? Nearby, silence in the crowd, holding a tablet, chimes in. What's the lifespan of these creatures? Do mythical or Pokemon hybrids live longer than normal animals? Hmm. I'm trying to think. Huh. The Genesis machine hums louder as if eager to bring the first creature to life, and the incubation chamber along the corridor glows warmly, ready for the eggs that will soon fill them. Staff stand poised, watching for the signal to begin the demonstration. Alright. Here we go, guys. I just said, I answered their questions by saying, yes, you can. You can totally mix powers in if you put the right DNA when we, you put the right DNA. When we say wizard DNA, though, it basically means magic powers. It's not going to look like a humanoid wizard. That's the only one that doesn't make the creature look like anything. So you could definitely mix, let's say, a phoenix with a wizard magic, and that phoenix could have more magical powers than it originally had. Every animal DNA actually affects the look of the creature. That's one of the biggest important. That's one of the biggest important things if you want the creature to look more like a See, if you want the creature to look more like a particular one, like a Tyrannosaurus Rex and Dragon hybrid, but you want it to look more like a dragon, then have to mix in more dragon DNA than Tyrannosaurus Rex. As for the lifespan, that really depends on the creature. A Fence hybrid, for example, could technically be reborn over and over again, live forever. Here's something you could do when you modify because of the creature. Using the size moderator, there's a few options in there before you confirm your size choice. One of them being growth, meaning that even if you make the creature, let's say 50 feet tall, it will actually grow with the love and care you give it. The faster it grows depends on how much you take care of it. If you really take care of it really well, you might have a 50-foot fence hybrid being double the size in just a week. On top of that, it will always be protective and loving towards you. I am not responding to what that just said. You stand confidently on the stage, the creature auditorium buzzing with excitement as the Genesis machine pulses behind you, soft blue light mingling with the glow of the DNA tanks lining the walls. Hal leans forward and thrilled as the holographic ceiling shifts to display a majestic phoenix, its fiery wings infused with sparkling arcs of magical energy, weaving through a starry sky alongside a dragon-like Tyrannosaurus Rex. The mosaic floor gleams with reflections of claws and scales, amplifying the fantastic atmosphere. Your words carry weight, and the guests, families, scientists, Pokemon trainers, and dreamers hang on every syllable. The questions filling the energy in the room. We turn to that woman in the fantasy cloak, her sketchbook open to a glowing Kitsune dragon hybrid. Let's see. Yes, you can absolutely mix in special powers. When we talk about wizard DNA, we're really talking about a unique essence that imbues magical abilities without altering the creature's physical form. So if you mix Fiend's DNA with wizard essence, for example, you could create a Fiend that not only has its natural fiery abilities, but also enhances magical powers. Perhaps it can cast shimmering light barriers or summon mystical flames with thought. The animal DNA, like Phoenix, Dragon, or Noivern, determines the creature's appearance, while Wizard Essence boosts its abilities without making it look like a humanoid wizard. You'll see all this on the mixing station's preview screen as you adjust the ratios. You gesture toward the mixing stations, where holographic interfaces glow softly, ready to guide users. Here's a key point. Every animal DNA affects the creature's look. If you're creating a Tyrannosaurus Rex and Dragon hybrid, for instance, but you want it to look more like a dragon, sleek, winged, made with shimmering scales, then you'll need to mix in more dragon DNA than T-Rex. The mixing station will show you exactly how the proportions change the appearance, so you can tweak it until it's perfect. Pivoting to the side of the tablet, you address the lifespan question with a thoughtful tone. As what it varies depending on the creature's DNA. A Fence hybrid, for example, could theoretically live forever, thanks to its rebirth ability. Each time it dies, it rises again, as long as you care for it properly. Other creatures, like a Feraligatr dog hybrid, might have lifespans closer to their natural counterparts, ranging from 10 to 20 years, though some mythical or Pokemon DNA can extend that significantly. But here's something special. When you use the size modulation chambers, you'll see options beyond just size. One of those is growth potential. Even if you choose to make your creature 50 feet tall at hatching, it can still grow larger over time, not just in size, but in strength and presence, based on the love and care you give it. If you nurture it well, a 50-foot Fence hybrid could double in size in just a week, and it will remain fiercely protective and loving toward you, no matter how massive it becomes. Cloud erupts outside whispers. The woman in the cloak sketches furiously, muttering about a glowing Fence with magical sparks, while the scientist taps notes into his tablet, murmuring about lifespan variables. A young Pokemon trainer raises his hand, his voice eager. Can we make creatures that evolve? Like Pokemon? Like could my Noivern hype turn into something even cooler later? Nearby, a parent holding a toddler asks, what if we want to make a creature that's super safe for kids? Can we avoid aggressive traits entirely? Still buzzing from your earlier answers, chimes in. Can we make more than one creature today? The jazz machine hums louder, its light pulsing in sync with the crowd's enthusiasm, and the incubation chambers glow warmer, ready for the eggs about to be created. Staff stand poised, their silver and white uniforms catching the light as they prepare for the demonstration. Alright, guys, give me a second. Alright, guys, here's what I said. I answered their questions, and here's what I said to them. Hybrids that evolve really depend on the creature's mix. For instance, if you make a dragon and toad they necessarily won't evolve, but as they get older and bigger, if you turn on the growth setting on the size moderator, that is, it will start looking more like Toad evolutions. So when it grows into a teenager, it might start looking more like Crocodile, and the same for Fragger when it becomes more adult. When it comes to multiple Pokemon DNAs, if you mix Pokemon that have not evolved yet, then technically yes. As for you, yes, you can make two or more creatures that are perfectly safe for children. Just be careful what you mix, and you don't have to do anything dragon. You could do two or more friendly creatures, like a dog and a unicorn, for example. And for you, boy, making more than one creature really depends on how well you care, and you can take care of them. The creatures always feel safe here, especially around me, and if you hurt them or don't take care of them, no matter what creature it is, they will always come back here, as they always feel safe here. If you can take care of your creature and show that you can be responsible with it, then you can make another one. But if you can't take care of it, then no. Alright guys, so as you stand tall on the stage, the creation Ethereum live with the hum of excitement and the soft glow of the Genesis machine behind you, DNA tanks cast mesmerizing reflections across the mosaic floor, their bioluminescent content swirling with faint images of creatures like alligator, unicorns, and dragons. The holographic ceiling shifts to a vibrant scene of a toad dragon hybrid splashing through a sparkling river, its form slowly shifting to resemble a crocodile as it bounds forward, captivating the crowd. Your coat embroidered with fins, feathers, and dragontail shimmers as you address the latest questions, your voice carrying a blend of enthusiasm and responsibility that commands the room. You turn to the Poland trainer, his eyes bright with the idea of evolution. Not thoughtfully. Whether hybrid evolves depends on the creatures you mix. For example, if you combine dragon DNA with Totodile, it won't necessarily evolve like a Pokemon in the traditional sense. However, if you activate the growth setting in the size modulation chamber, the creature's appearance can shift as it matures. So as a Totodile dragon hybrid grows from a juvenile to a teenager, it might start to resemble Crocodile, with stronger jaws and a more robust build. By adulthood, it could take on traits closer to alligator, bigger, fiercer, but still with those draconic wings or scales. You mix multiple Pokemon DNA, especially unevolved ones like Totodile and, say, a Noibat. You know, part of me was thinking of a Noibat when I was thinking of that. Then yes, technically the Hyper could reflect traits of their evolved forms, like Noivern or alligator, as it grows, especially with the growth setting enabled. Mixing Station's preview will give you a sense of how those changes might unfold. You shift your attention to the parent holding their toddler, offering a reassuring smile. Yes, you can absolutely create creatures that are perfectly safe for children. It's all about choosing the right DNA. You don't need to include anything aggressive like a dragon or a T-Rex. Instead, try mixing friendly animals with gentle mythical creatures, like a dog and a unicorn, for example. That could give you a fluffy, horned companion with a loyal personality, perfect for kids. The mixing station will flag any combinations that might lean towards aggressive traits, so you can adjust to ensure your creature is as gentle as possible. Our staff will also guide you to make sure the mix is safe and suited for your family. I'm trying to think, because there was something I was meaning to look at a while ago and I forgot what it was. Let's see. Finally, you crouch slowly to address the young boy with the toy Pokeball, his face with excitement at the thought of multiple creatures. Your tone is kind but firm, carrying the weight of the responsibility you're entrusting to the guest. As for making more than one creature, that depends on how well you can care for the first one. These creatures are living beings, and they need love, attention, and proper care. They're designed to feel safe here at the creation station, especially around money. What was that? Okay. Alright, guys. Here's what I said. As for making more than one creature, that depends on how well you can care for the first one. These creatures are living beings, and they need love, attention, and proper care. They're designed to feel safe here at the creation station, especially around me. And if they're ever mistreated, are hurt, they'll instinctively return here, where they know they're protected. If you prove you can be responsible, feed your creature for it, and show it love, then yes, you can come back and create another one. But if you can't take care of it, well, you won't be able to make more. It's all about responsibility. The crowd nods, absorbing your words. The transport is muttering about a toad out and Weebat mix, while the parent whispers to their toddler about a unicorn puppy. The boy with the Pokeball looks determined, clutching his toy tightly as he vows to take care of his creature. A new hand goes up, a young woman in a scientist's coat, her expression curious but cautious. What about the environmental impact? If we're making creatures like fences or massive dragons, how ensure they don't disrupt ecosystems? Beside her, a teenager with a sketch pad. Can we customize the colors of the creature? Like a blue dragon or a rainbow phoenix? The buzz in the auditorium grows, the machine pulsing irregularly, and the incubation chamber glow warmly, ready for a demonstration you're about to lead. They stop asking questions, I could lead it. Alright guys, here's what I said. You don't have to worry about ecosystem problems. Everything is perfectly safe. They're only gonna eat what you bring them. The only thing that might be a problem is if the creature tries to protect you. It won't do anything to make sure. It won't do anything to make sure. It will do anything to make sure you're protected, potentially even, let's say, for a dragon shooting fire. That's the only real danger when it comes to environment. As for you, yes, you can change the color of the creature however you want, and just the color before you confirm your size with the size moderator. Besides that, the option to let your creature continue to grow past your desired size is also another option called the size dependency plan. This option will make it to where if you don't take care of your creature, it will start becoming smaller and weaker. However, the plus side is that also can make your pet live forever, even if it's not a phoenix. That's only if you're taking care of it. Here we go. You stand at the heart of the creation altar. The genetic machine's synthetic glow casting a serene blue light across the stage as you address the crowd. DNA tanks lining the wall shimmer with bioluminescent liquid, their contents swirling with faint silhouettes of creatures like Lugia, unicorns, and T-Rex hybrids. However, the ceiling shifts to a breathing display of a rainbow-hued phoenix soaring alongside a deep blue dragon, their colors vibrating against the twilight sky, captivating the audience. The music floor glints with reflections of scales and feathers, and the air buzzes with excitement as the guests, scientists, families, Pokemon trainers, and dreamers lean forward and thrilled by your answers. Turning the young woman in the scientist's coat, your question about environmental impact hanging in the air, and offer a reassuring nod. You don't need to worry about ecosystem problems. Our creatures are designed to be perfectly safe for the environment. They'll only eat what you provide them based on the care guide generated by the mixing station. For example, a dragon dog hybrid might eat steak or kibble, and a plant-eating dinosaur unicorn mix will stick to vegetation you supply. They won't hurt or forage in the wild. They won't disrupt local ecosystems. The only potential environmental concern comes if a creature feels the need to protect you. For instance, a dragon hybrid might breathe fire to defend you, which could accidentally cause damage. But as long as you keep your creature in a safe, controlled environment and manage our care guidelines, the risk is minimal. Our staff will provide tips to manage it. Moving to the teenage girl with the skeptic pad, her eyes sparkling at the thought of colorful creatures, you grin. Yes, you can absolutely customize the color of your creature however you want. When you use the size modulation chamber, you'll see a color adjustment tool alongside the size and growth settings. Want a blue dragon or a rainbow phoenix? You can tweak the hues to match your vision, from subtle pastels to vibrant neons. Chamber's holographic preview will show you exactly how the colors will look before you finalize your creature. You pause, addressing the entire crowd to elaborate on the chamber's features. The size modulation chamber offers a few key options. Beyond size and color, there's the growth setting, which, as I mentioned, allows your creature to grow larger over time with proper care. There's also an innovative feature called the size dependency plan. If you activate this, your creature's size and strength will directly reflect how well you care for it. Don't take care of it, and it may become smaller and weaker. But if you nurture it with love and attention, it can thrive indefinitely. Even non-fence hybrids can potentially live forever with this plan, staying healthy and vibrant as long as you care for them properly. It's a powerful way to ensure the bond between you and your creature is reflecting in its vitality. The crowd murmurs with excitement. The scientist nods thoughtfully. He taps notes into her tablet, reassured by the environmental safeguards. Teenage girl sketches a blue dragon with rainbow-tipped wings, whispering it slowly to her friend. The boy with the toy Pokemon, still clutching it tightly, looks determined to care for his future creature to earn another. A new hand goes up, a middle-aged man in a Pokemon League jacket. So, can we mix one and two types of DNA? Like, could I make a creature with Lugia, Dragon, and Wizard essence all at once? Nearby, a young mother with a baby on her hip asks, "What happens if we can't take care of the creature anymore? You said they'd come back here, but what then?" Into the Altarium surges, Jenkins pulses brightly, and the incubation chambers glow warmly, ready for the eggs you'll soon create in demonstration. As if they'll stop asking questions. Here we go. I said, yes, you can mix as many as you want when it comes to DNAs. However, the more DNA you mix, the weirder the creature could look. You could do 3, 4, possibly even 5. However, go past any more than that, and you might not get exactly what you want. And once you do that, it's pretty hard to get the DNA you don't want out of those mixing bowls. So just be careful. If you can't take care of the creature for some reason, they will come back here, but it will be cared for by staff and me. But please, if this does happen, come by the facility and let us know that you can't take care of it anymore. Otherwise, everybody's just going to assume that you didn't take care of your creature, and then you won't be able to get another one. You stand confidently on the stage, the creature on pulsing with energy as the Genesis machine hums behind you, its soft blue glow illuminating the intricate patterns on your emerald coat. The DNA tanks along the wall shimmer, their bioluminescent content swirling with silhouettes of Lugia, dragons, and unicorns, while the holographic ceiling shifts to display a fantastical creature, a shrinking aghanim of Lugia, dragon, and wizard essence, its wings sparkling with magical energy under a starry sky. God captivated, their face lit by the glow of the tanks and the mosaic floors reflections of scales and feathers. Air is heavy with anticipation as guests clutch their tickets, eager for the demonstration to begin. You turn to the man in the Pokemon League jacket, his question about mixing multiple DNA sparking a ripple of excitement through the crowd. Yes, you can absolutely mix as many DNAs as you want. Stages into the mixing stations where holographic interfaces glow invitingly. You can combine Lugia, Dragon, and Wizard Essence, or even add a 4th or 5th DNA like Noivern or Phoenix to create something truly unique. But here's the catch. The more DNAs you mix, the more unpredictable the creature appearance might become. 3 or 4 can still give you a cohesive look if you balance the ratios carefully. But the mixing station's preview screen will help you tweak it. But if you go beyond that, say 5 or more, it might not look exactly as you envision. And it's tricky to remove unwanted DNA from the mixing bowls once they're combined. So be thoughtful and take your time to get it right. You then shift to the young mother, her baby cooing softly on her hip, and offer a reassuring smile. If for any reason you can't care for your creature anymore, don't worry. They'll easily return to the creation station where they feel safe. My staff and I will care for them, ensuring they're healthy and happy in our sanctuary wing, where we have habitats tailored to every kind of creature, from tiny unicorns to massive T-Rex hybrids. But please, if this happens, come by the facility and let us know. That way we can document the situation and ensure that creatures' needs are met. If you don't inform us and your creature returns on its own, we might assume neglect, which could prevent you from creating another one. Transparency helps us keep this process responsible and fair for everyone. The crowd nods. The man in the Pokemon League, Jake grinning as he whispers to a friend about a Lugia Dragon Wizard mix, while the mother looks relieved, adjusting her caveat as she murmurs about a gentle dog unicorn hybrid. The boy with the toy Pokeball bounces on his seat, clearly eager to start mixing. A teenage boy with a sketchpad, his voice roll. Can we give the creature names? And will he respond to them? Like I trained my Dragon Fans Hyper to come with I call it? Beside him, an older man in a suit looking like a businessman asks, are there any limits on how many creatures the facility can take back if people can't care for them? And do you ever rehome them? As machine pulses briars are sensing the immense demonstration, and the incubation chambers glow warmly along the corridor. Transparent pods ready to cradle the eggs you'll soon create. Staff in their sleek silver and white uniforms stand poised, waiting for your signal to begin. Alright, guys, here's what I said. Yes, you can name the creature whatever you want, and they respond to it if they recognize the name. I will show you a good example of this when I show you the demonstration. For example, if you give a fence hybrid the name Blaze, it will respond to it perfectly towards the people it cares about. And no, there is no limit to how many creatures we can take. We have plenty of space for every creature around here. If we somehow do run out of space, we have a whole big area in the back that has plenty of space for more creatures to run around and have fun. However, here's the thing. As for rehoming them, that's the really hard part. Because if you didn't make the creature, it's really not going to trust anybody else. And because of that, we cannot really let anybody else have it. So once they get sent back here for reasons like you can't take care of it, it's basically up to the staff to take care of it. Now I'll take one more question before I begin the demonstration. This is a really important question that everybody wants to know about. I'll answer one more before I begin. You stand at the center of the creation acronym, the stage better than the pulsing blue glow of the genetic machine. It's a light dancing across your emerald coat. The DNA tanks on the wall shimmer with bioluminescent liquid, casting fleeting silhouettes of creatures, phoenixes, lugia, dragons, and more. A holographic ceiling shifts to a vibrant scene of a phoenix named Blaze, its fiery wings trailing sparks as it soars through the twilight sky, responding to an unseen call. The mosaic floor glints with reflections of scales and feathers, and the crowd, scientists, families, Pokemon, trainers, and is on the edge of their crescent-shaped seats, buzzing with anticipation for the demonstration. There was electric incubation chambers glowing warmly in the corridor, ready to cradle the eggs you'll soon create. You nodded a tiny blue with the sketchpad, his question about naming sparking excitement in the room. Yes, you can name your creature whatever you want, and they will respond to it once they recognize the name. Yep, for example, if you create a Phoenix hybrid and name it Blaze, it will learn to respond to that name, especially when called by the people it cares about. You, its creator, most of all. The bond you build through care and training strengthens the recognition. I'll show you a perfect example of this during the demonstration, so you'll see exactly how it works. Turn to the businessman in the suit, you address this question with a serious but reassuring tone. As for taking creatures back, there's no limit to how many we can accept here. The creation station is designed with vast sanctuary wings, spacious habitats tailored for every kind of creature, from tiny unicorn dogs to massive T-Rex hybrids. We've got sprawling fields, aquatic zones, and even aerial enclosures for flyers like Lugia or Phoenixes. If we ever approach capacity, we have a massive reserve area out back, with plenty of space for creatures to run, fly, or swim freely. But here's the challenging part: rehoming. These creatures form a deep bond with their original creator, so they generally won't trust anyone else. Because of that, we can't rehome them to new owners. When a creature returns here, say because you can no longer care for it, my staff and I take full responsibility for its care, ensuring it lives happily in our sanctuary, but it stays with us. You pause, scan the crowd, their faces a mix of awe and responsibility. Teenage boy grins, sketching a fence with Blaze written beside it, while the businessman nods, satisfied but thoughtful. You raise your hands, your voice clear and commanding. Alright, I'll take one more question before we dive into the demonstration. Who has a really important question that everyone wants to know about? Make it count. The crowd stirs, hands shooting up. A young woman in a Pokemon trainer's cap, her belt lined with Pokeballs, stands eagerly. Can the creatures breed with each other, or will other animals or Pokemon? Like, could my Dragon Lugia hybrid have babies with another creature from here? The question draws gasps and murmurs. The crowd learn it lean forward, clearly intrigued by the implications. This machine hums louder. Its light pulsing in rhythm with the excitement, and the stout exchange glances ready to assist as you prepare to enter and move into the demonstration.